Oh, hello, everybody. Alleluia. Christ is risen. He is risen indeed. Alleluia. I hope your weekend went reasonably well under the circumstances. I want to share with you a cartoon by Johannes Leek. A friend of a friend sent it me. I think it was from The Australian. It depicts a wonderful image, I think, of our current circumstances. The Easter season actually lasts 40 days. So we have an opportunity over the next few weeks to really reflect on the resurrection stories and how Jesus appeared to those who were frightened, locked away, and gave them hope, opened a new world of understanding about how God works in the world. There are three things that strike me about our gospel reading for this weekend. The first is that Jesus comes through the doors, the locked doors, and says, "Peace be with you." As I've said in different contexts, I believe this is a peace that's wrought from wrestling with daily life, with the reality of our lives, rather than avoiding it, putting our feet up, having a cup of tea. And so maybe during this resurrection season, there may be things that you need to bring peace to your life, to your heart. The second thing is that Jesus breathed on them. And it calls to mind the passage in Genesis chapter 2 of the second creation story, where Adam was created out of the Adamah, I believe in Hebrew. And so man, literally, or Adam, is a lifeless clay form until God breathes into his nostrils. And woman, or Eve, as she is named, which translates as living, comes out of Adam's rib. The notion that God's breath at the beginning of creation, God's breath that sustained the people of faith for many, many years, is the same breath that Jesus breathes on the disciples on this day. And the third and final thing around this passage is Thomas. And when Jesus appears to the disciples a week later, Thomas is asked to place his fingers in the wounds of Christ, to place his hand in Jesus' side. And I think you and I are invited as people of faith, maybe people of no faith, to place our hands in the wounds of others as a form of solidarity. I'd like to finish today's reflection with a poem by Australian poet Noel Davis. It takes time to bake a loaf of bread, to grind, to knead, to wait. Time for friends to break and share their lives. It takes time to craft in wood, to strip, to wound, to bleed. Time for the original to be released from the prison of our fear. It takes time for us to build and fortify our lives. Time for the steel of the divine to slay our pride. It takes time to be alone, to become one's intimate friend. Time in the dry for the hidden stream to fill the empty well. It takes time to wait in silence for the coming of the spring. Time for a bud to swell on winter's dreams. It takes time to let your life be turned around, to accept a vision's death. Time in the void to see with different eyes. It takes time to still within and merge with life. Time in the wild to let the river slow you down. It takes time to tend a crop of grain, to plough, to sow, to wonder. Time for love to ripen and be harvested.